Hi guys and welcome to another episode of Watch and Roll. Today we have the Oceanus Manta OCWS6000. This channel is a bit known for making the first reviews about Oceanus watches back in 2017. Actually, the fact that there wasn't any reviews of this brand at all, and when I say at all, I mean zero single reviews, but the fact that there was none was the reason why I started this channel. I had other two Oceanus before on this channel, the OCWS100 and the Diverse Cachalot. So in this review, I will compare them together and I will try my best to remain neutral and tell you the truth, and despite that I love this brand. So stay tuned because you might be surprised. Before we start, let me remind you that these watches are made in the Yamagata production line. This is the place where the most expensive multi-$1,000 Casios are made. It is an entirely different factory which in only a limited number of skilled certified work medalists are allowed to enter. This is a factory with advanced equipment and skilled manufacturing process where they produce these watches with a high degree of perfection. From the minute gears of the movement to the precise assembly, they achieve high manufacturing throughout an integrated production system. Oceanus is known in the industry for mixing high precision electronic tech with some craftsmanship that you see on the luxury side of watchmaking. So getting the measurements out of the way, 39mm case without any crown guards or buttons, a shocking 8.7mm thickness, or I should say thinness, 21mm lug width, and a 47 lug to lug. Now let's talk materials and the various processes they use to manufacture this watch. High intensity titanium carbide, just like any other Oceanus, which is pretty great. You have basically the highest quality titanium or grade 5 titanium, which is harder than regular titanium. You have the lightness of titanium, the very, very high corrosion resistance. You have the hypoallergenic properties, the warmth of titanium, the hardness that comes with it, the bright color, plus the carbide surface hardening treatment, which puts the hardness of this material to be up there with other materials such as Citizen's Duratec, Syntagmented steel, etc. A friendly reminder that this production of this material, the machining, the polishing, is a more laborious job than doing it on 316L or 904 stainless steel. Not just that, but using Salis polishing, which the Swiss use only on high horology microcomponents like screws on their movements. Here, the Japanese apply the Salis method on the entire case and the bracelet. We know that the case and the bracelet finishing is done by the same people that polishes the cases for Grand Seiko, so just keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, let me bring this Citizen Chronomaster, which is basically a Grand Seiko finished Citizen, and you can see that the finishing is pretty much identical on both. Sapphire crystal with anti-reflecting coating on both sides, which surprisingly is a bit close to the 99% clarity coating used on the Citizen Chronomaster. Casio says on their website that they use their own 99% clarity coating, but honestly it is not as good as on the Citizen Chronomaster. The one on the Citizen Chronomaster is the best coating I ever seen. We have a whole entire sapphire bezel, not just an insert such as on the Cachalot, but the entire bezel structure is sapphire. The process adopted for this bezel is a multi-sided cutting technique called face cut that is used for jewelry, and the color tone is a blue to black gradation. Vapor deposition and sputtering process are performed multiple times in a complex manner to achieve this seamless change in color from dark to light. We have the names of the cities around the world etched on the sapphire crystal. So to have this bezel right here, they eliminated the outer frame of the bezel from the case. Now they also have applied a blue IP to the convex part of the inner frame to create that sense of unity with bezel. If we go inside the dial, we can see that the solar panels are actually on the subdials. This way, they had the freedom to have a deep black mirror polishing on the rest of the dial. Now, The handset, the indices, the date frame, and the other details are definitely a step up from other Oceanus I've seen. They, of course, are applied and machined. Honestly, they're kind of similar to the Citizen Chronomaster, maybe not exactly just as perfect, but it gets a bit close. So that's a little bit surprising. Of course, we have all the good specs from Oceanus, like the multi-band 6 radio wave reception that keeps dead accuracy of time, Bluetooth recharges by light, the multi-motor tough movements strategically assembled based on density of material such so it's super reliable. The smart axis crown, the laser system to keep the hands aligned, low battery indicator, etc., etc. We have a mysterious case back. I'm not sure how they affix these to the case because there's no screws or anything, but it is water resistant to 100 meters. The bracelet, which I removed, has an H-shaped link system. It looks really good, and the clasp has a micro adjustment system. Now, before I jump into the functions, we have to talk about this case thickness. This is the thinnest case Oceanus makes. Due to the miniaturization of components, single-sided high-density board mounting, and a flat-top structure using flat sapphire crystal, they achieve a case thickness of 8.7 millimeters. This is the thinnest multi-motor high-spec watch I ever seen. I did notice that the handsets are not independent from each other, like the hour and the minute hand are assembled in one gear together. So maybe this is one trade-off to achieve the thinness of the watch, but every other handset has their independent motor. So going to the functions, we know we have the time right here, a perpetual date window. The upper subdial is a 24-hour indicator. The left side subdial is a secondary time zone with PM or AM indicator, which you can switch with your main time zone if you press and hold the upper button. The lower subdial indicates the day of the week. It has a power level indicator right here that works every time you pull the crown out and then you pull it back in. To activate the stopwatch, you have to trade it off for the secondary time zone. You pull the crown to the first position, then press the upper button. You push the crown in, then anytime you want to use the chronograph, you simply use these two buttons to start, pause, and restart. But this subdial won't give you a secondary time zone anymore. If you want this secondary time zone again, you have to do the same process to switch. When you pull out the crown and turn in, you change the subdial time zone. If you pull the crown on the second position and turn it, you change your main time zone. As simple as that. You don't really need anything else other than that. But if you want to go further, if you pull out the crown to the first position and press the lower button, you can change the DST, STD, or auto. Or if you hold it for 6 seconds, you can perform a hand alignment process. You can press the lower button to switch which hand you want to align. If you press the button for longer, it's going to lead the Bluetooth pairing with your watch, allowing you to receive the multi-band radio reception. If you pull out the crown to the second position and press and hold the lower button for 3 seconds, you'll be able to manually change the time, date, leap year, and everything else. Now let's talk about how this compares to lower end Oceanus like the now famous and beloved OCWS100. The OCWS100 is amazing for the price, but look how this is thinner. Look at the difference in thickness with these other watches. Look how the quality on the dial and every component is just better. The OCWS100 has an integrated bracelet. The Manta has a traditional lug spring bar, which I use to put on a strap. You guys know I put everything on silicone or rubber strap. They're just more comfortable and I don't have to worry about scratches. So yeah, the quality on the Manta is definitely a step up. The handset simply don't have the imperfections as on the OCWS100. The overall build quality feels much better. The anti-reflective coating is much better. Even something I really noticed, and this was something very, very noticeable that I appreciate a lot. the action of pulling the crown out and turning it. The steps when you turn it and the pulling out and in action of the crown are very confident and defined but smooth at the same time. It is just much better in that regard. Even the box is a much nicer than the one on regular Oceanus. Look at the color, it's made out of wood and it has hinges and everything. Now, this watch is not perfect. Unfortunately, there is a negative. The lume is just not as good as any other Oceanus. The color is a more intense blue instead of a brighter aqua on my other Oceanus, and it simply is just not as bright. So yeah, there is that. Now, let's talk about the design of this watch. It really is something else. It really is something different, and they really spend time designing this watch. Do we like it? Do we hate it? Maybe it's up to you when it comes to personal taste. Me personally, I like it on pictures, and I love it when I actually have it in my hands. I like the shape, the faceted angles, the low profile, the size of the crown, the thinness, the crown guards. I think the proportions are good with the subdials and the indices. I also love the shiny, glossy reflections that the Sapphire gives, the inky deep black dial and all the rich accents it has without being too crazy. It is a bit exotic, but is refined at the same time. I can already tell people will be asking about this watch. It really is an unbelievable watch, absolutely worthy of its price tag when you understand how difficult this is to manufacture. Lastly, I want to mention that I did not buy this watch. This watch was given to me by a very special woman that doesn't want to be mentioned, and I have been truly shocked that she could do something like that for me. I'm not sure if you think the same, but us men are not treated that well in the West in comparison to other parts of the world. So for a beautiful young woman to give me something like this, it's mind blowing, and I'm absolutely grateful. Thank you guys for checking this out. Thank you all, bros, for sharing this cool hobby, and I do wish you all a great rest of your day.